It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, our WCCSradio.com. Our conversation with Craig Carey, the head coach of the IUP women's basketball team, brought to you by Marcus and Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Coach Carey with us. If you're looking at us on Facebook, he's the one to your left. Mr. Benedict is the one to the right. There's several slight differences between the two of them.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Coach, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you in the studio with us, finally.
Yes.
Tried to get you here last year, but we couldn't make that work. But
I gave him a brief tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Brief tour usually does it. Jack, you get to call some IUP women's basketball this year, of course. The PSAC season is
I've been pretty
really
fortunate in a lot of ways, and it was like, I think, the late 80s when we first started to do a few games. Ruth Podbilski, the pioneer of sports here on the women's side, Hall of Famer and everything, said, "You're doing all these men's games. We got to get women's basketball on the air." Mm-hmm. And so we did little by little, and of course it's mushroom to, we have the 22 doubleheaders and any playoffs or whatever. I wore one of the rings from the women,
there you go.
So Coach Carey, second year for you, and you and I had talked before, and you came at a late date last year, and so, wow, that must have been a whirlwind trying to get everything organized.
Yes, and on top of that, that was my first season as a head coach. So it was just kind of, everything you don't want and want at one time. But, I thought we did the best we could with what we had at the time. It was a very different system for the players as well. So it was just kind of a fastball to everyone, just trying to get on the same page. We were lucky enough to bring in some players at the mid-year. And, we only went about 5 deep, 6 deep. So when you do that and play the way we play, as you know, we like to play very fast. So it was a learning experience for everyone. But I think we came out, better as a team because of it. And this year, you'll kind of see a lot of those players taking that next step in their progression.
Well, I was going to bring that up. You won 18 games last year, but you have coming back all these, Maria Cerro and KB, Kiera, Gina Adams, Tiara Preston. And then even your bench players, you have 5 other players there.
Right.
So talk about those players first of all, and everybody knew everybody, so it had to be a lot easier putting it together.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where you start building your culture as returning players, because when you bring in, we brought in 3 transfers, and then a young lady from Spain, so they're coming into this culture not really knowing, and the returners really set the stage for them. It makes my job a lot easier if I don't have to continually preach things to them. The returning players kind of take care of that for me, and they kind of set the stage for everything we want to go moving forward. And, they all worked extremely, extremely hard this summer, too. They all got better, every returner. So we're really excited about the team.
Tell us about your 4 new players.
Yeah, so I guess the first one would be Grayson Trula, who was at Mercyhurst, started last year, was their leading scorer. She comes in this year. Expecting big things from her. She's kind of stepping into that Elena Cardona role this year. That was the only starter we lost from last year, so she's going to have a big role for us this year. And then Nyshay Weaver, transfer from AB. AB just closed.
Right,
In our scrimmage, she had 20 and 8. She's a big-time athlete, real physical, more of a traditional back-to-the-basket player. We didn't really have that last year. It was more finesse. But she's a strong girl, real athletic, real physical. So, again, excited for her. She has 3 years left, so she's only going to be a sophomore. She's going to have a really, really bright future. The third one, D1 transfer from SEMO, Southeast Missouri, Romina Henderson. Just big-time athlete. When you see her run, she never gets tired. She never gets winded. Big-time athlete. Averaged about 10 a game there. Started some at a D1. So for her to come here was a really big step in her career. She wants to, get some things on film, go overseas. So expecting a very big year from her.
I was going to ask you, how did you find out about her from Missouri?
Well, being in, I was at the Power 5 level. I do a lot of recruiting, a lot of connections, transfer portal is crazy, and luckily being at West Virginia, I am used to navigating it and just no stone left unturned. Sure. She was still available, and believe it or not, we recruited her for about 2 weeks, and it was over. We got her in about 2 weeks. Her and her mom came on a visit, and that's just how this world is.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
And your fourth player.
Yes, from Spain, Elena Benito. Big-time shooter, lefty, really young, still only 17 years old. In America, would probably be a high school senior. But the way their school is there, she graduated, we got her. So we're real excited about her. Still learning the American game a little bit. As you know, very different when you watch like the Olympics. They play very different over there. Trying to get the European hop out of her game when she catches it. They take a few more extra steps. But another one we're real excited about, real bright future. I think in recruiting, it's real tempting to just go get all transfers in today's game, but we want to try to build it. I don't want a new team every year.
Mm-hmm.
That it's tempting, but it's hard to build a culture like that. So with Shay, with Elena, those are 3-year, 4-year kids on top of the transfers we're getting. So that's where we can kind of build them and progress them, because I'm really big into skill development. We work on it every day. So it would be tough to continue to build a team every year over and over and over. So we want to kind of, meet in the middle of getting, the Raminas of the world, the one and done grad transfers from D1s, and then get high school kids. So then we can actually have every year we're building on what we already have.
Mm-hmm. So are we going to see a more up-tempo game?
Oh, yeah. Defensively, especially. Last year with only having 5'6", we had to dial it down tremendously from the pressure I like to put on the ball, off the ball, especially with foul trouble. And we were playing people with 3 fouls in the first half just because I didn't have anyone to really sub in.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to extend a lot more. We're going to show a lot more pressure, do a lot more different things on ball screens, trap a little bit. We're running like a 1-2-2 trapping back into a man this year. We're doing a lot of different things, a lot of different looks, just to try to, as you saw, people tend to get comfortable with the pressure you give them. So we want to mix up the pressure throughout the game. And to your point, our numbers are a lot better. We're a lot deeper, so I can keep fresh bodies in to keep the pressure up.
Mm-hmm. Todd?
I'm just interested, just listening to your descriptions of especially the new girls coming in, because you've got a traditional low post player with a fast-paced up-court game. Not every low post player can play an up-tempo game and run the floor.
Right, yeah. She's learning. Again, what helps her is she's not a traditional back to the basket where she like lumbers up and down the floor. She's a big time athlete. She's just so strong, and when she posts, she gets really wide in the paint, has a long drop step, long arms. But you're a product of your environment. If you're the only one not running, you stick out like a sore thumb. So everyone's on her all the time, like run. And in our transition, we send a rim runner straight to the front of the rim. So she's going to run full speed straight to the front of the rim, and then we're 4 out, 1 in with her, and we play off of her. So, I talk to her all the time. Great personality. She's from Baltimore. Great personality, a lot of energy. But I tell her all the time, like, if you like to score, you'll run. And there she goes. She takes off running.
Hey, you think back to a year ago. You were coming. You probably didn't even know all the ladies' names when you got to that first game, and you have to institute a system and then grow into it as the season goes along with the limitations that you had personnel wise because of all of the different factors that went into it. Now you've had these same ladies for over a year. And you've been able to really get to know them much more in the off season and leading up to now. How much better does it feel knowing these ladies as you do?
Oh, it feels great. I think it feels better for them as well. I mean, to just get thrown a coach, you don't know their personality, anything like that. No, I think it was kind of like a relationship forged in fire last year. We were both put into this situation with low time, and they were asked to learn a lot in a short amount of time, and I was asked to teach a lot in a short amount of time, and everyone just did their best. And I think when a relationship is built like that, I know they're going to give me their all, and they know I'm going to give them my all. And when you do that, you kind of turn the page a lot easier.
Yeah.
When it's just we either do it or we don't do it. And last year, with limited numbers, the game plan worked or it didn't. I mean, we only had 5, and we just had to roll with the punches. And I think it really matured a lot of them, because a lot of them had been with the team a long time but hadn't played a lot. They hadn't got a lot of playing time. So, I think they appreciated my, quote unquote honesty with them at times. I'm someone that's going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And I think they really appreciated that, because I'm going to try to keep you on the floor as much as possible. So I'm going to tell you what you need to know, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I'm also not going to humor you as much as, some of them like it, some of them don't, but they all appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of coddling going on.
Coach, some of the word swirling about in the PSAC is look out for IUP women's basketball this year. You were picked number 3 behind California, Gannett, and you told me before, you said, that's good we're picked number 3. Mm-hmm. You prefer to be in that spot starting the season, right?
Yeah, I wish they would pick us last. I like being doubted, because I know we're going to give everyone our best. I want everyone at their best, and we'll see who comes out the end.
Yeah. You start with Penn State, New Kensington, noon tip-off Friday.
Yes.
And then you have Salem coming in for the second game. That's what, on Monday?
Monday.
Following Monday.
Yes.
Well, we've got a lot of basketball. We've got a triple header of basketball to KCAC Friday.
Yeah.
It's a place to be.
It really is. And to start it out with the women at home and watching the style of play that you described, it's going to be a lot of fun for folks. And I know you'd love to get those fans fired up very early in the season.
Absolutely. Get them rolling early and keep them there.
I've seen where you get a lot of support from the parents and family and friends of these players.
Yes.
And that's just great, especially when you have a facility like the KCAC to come see games.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just to circle back to recruiting, when you bring kids and families in to see the KCAC, I mean, it sells itself.
Yeah.
So, to have that type of venue, bring parents, friends, fans, I mean, there's nothing like it. I would say probably in Division II, majority of Division I's. So just the atmosphere is, electric. When you pack the house like that, I mean, it's just such a home court advantage for the team.
Especially when the conference games get going.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, the program history
Yes.
Is so rich as well, and recruits know that.
Oh yeah.
They look at the PSAC, they see the caliber of basketball. They look at Cal, and they know what Cal's all about, and so they know with IUP right up there competing with them for all these years, it's a tremendous rivalry.
Oh yeah, and I think it's going to develop even more now because we play kind of similar styles now. Now we play really fast, like they play fast, and we were in slugfest last year with them. Because it's two similar styles, both very physical. We're going to put a lot more athletes on the floor this year, which they're all athletic and switch 1 through 4, 1 through 5. We're going to do a lot of the same. So it's just going to be, another drag out, punch out match.
Oh, why not?
Yeah. I do not like blowouts. I don't like, because it's hard to keep their attention, and now everyone just wants to go one-on-one. Let me just try to steal it. I love close games, battles. So I look forward to playing those kind of games.
Yeah. I love watching the women's game, and especially, and I think the men are going to come around and do this, is the fact is you're playing quarters.
Quarters, yeah.
And the game, it's the same number of minutes, but it just seems to flow better. And I have nothing against the men's game. Believe me, I love it. But interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, with quarters you get more late situations, and I think that draws excitement. You get more last-second plays. You get more timeouts where there's, say, you're going into halftime and there's one shot clock left. You're more likely to get a timeout and a play out of a timeout. Whereas, with the 20 minutes, it tends to just kind of drag and drag and drag. I love the quarters. I mean, that's why the pros do it. There's more excitement towards the end of each 10 minutes.
Don't get me wrong, Coach Lombardi. I still love men's basketball, too.
Shout out, Coach.
You'll get a bunch of both of it this year at the KCAC.
Okay, well, we'll be ready to go. Todd's going to be over there. I'll be there Friday, and Todd will be there Saturday.
Coach, thanks so much.
Yeah, appreciate you.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com.